We good? Yes, sir, baby. On the Radar Radio. Yo, special guests in the building. Lazarus, the top don.
You already know what it is.
Vision Beats, my guy.
You already know what it is.
What's good, my boy? How are you?
Feeling great to be here.
Welcome to the show.
Salute,
How y'all
Gabe.
feeling today?
Fantastic. Great to be here.
One Take God.
One Take God.
Have you always been like a One Take God?
Yeah. It's kind of like the lyrical, chamber that I come from and the team.
You know, it was funny. I was watching like I think on YouTube you had like some quarantine bar stuff.
Correct.
Obviously pandemic shit.
Yep.
But like all those were One Take too?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So like, you and I have known each other for like, Blue, I've known you for almost a year now. Laz, you and I have known each other for
It's been that long?
Yeah, about a year.
About a year?
About a year.
Wow.
I've known you for like 2 years now.
Like 2 years now.
Two-ish years-ish.
Yeah.
But for you, like, I didn't know you before the pandemic or before quarantine. So like, how does this music journey start for you? How long you been grinding for this? And then how do you two meet each other too?
All right, great question. For those that don't know me, Lazarus the Top Don, I've been making music since I was about 10 years old. I come from a musical dynasty. I'm Puerto Rican and Cuban. Both my uncles were basically famous in music. One got a street named in the Bronx after him. My other uncle has one named in Harlem. All I did was kind of create my name, Laz the Don, basically based upon them. They were real dons. And then afterwards, I got blessed. I started off at first with Terror Squad and the House of Representatives. And after I started to learn the business, I created my own imprint in 2005 called Top Don Empire and Top Don Publishing. Mm-hmm. And, we're all the way up to now where I've been grinding to this point where, with my team at Accolades, like, I have some heavy affiliations, unlike a lot of artists that I know. So I'm affiliated, of course, with Lord Sear. I'm affiliated with, Amadeus and the Army. I wound up, signing a 1-album deal with him. And we wound up putting out the I Get At 'Em Verbal Warfare album. It went gold. After that came out, then I hooked up with, my brother Blu. Blu basically produced 5 tracks for me. When he first started, I remember when me and him first met, I was at a showcase he invited me to, and he's like, yo, I make beats. And I'm like, all right, cool, let me see what you got. And then I made a record for him that went into a movie called Getting Fly. And then afterwards, the magic just started happening from there, to be honest.
Fire. He told your whole part for you, bro.
I know, right? I couldn't get one word in. But yeah, as he said, I'm going to piggyback off of what he said. It's true. I met him in a showcase. It was downtown Brooklyn. It was in Amarachi Lounge.
Correct.
And we had a big show there, and Lazarus had his Terror Squad chain. I was like, hey, who is this guy? I didn't know who he was. And I approached him. I said, hey, listen, man, you ever need beats, let me know. And we hit it off real good. Exchange phone numbers. I just randomly sent him a beat and he liked it, so I just kept sending him beats, and that's how we hit it off. And we, the chemistry was good from there on.
That's fire. But you said you started the imprint back in 2005.
Correct.
So you really been working for this for a minute.
For a long time, yeah, because what happened, besides like working with Blu, shout out to my brother Cover, Clean and Dirty, and Umbrella Studios, and these were producers that were always sending me beats, and basically at the time, I was trying to build the empire and the accolade, and then, the record started getting on High 97, shout out to Drewski, they just played Street Legend last night, produced by Blu Diaz, and then I had another record called The Army that he wound up airing out for me, that was produced by Amadeus, then another song by me and Corey Guns called I'm Coming, produced by Cover. Yep. So when I started to notice these traction, that every time I do a track with these 3 producers, I'm getting airplay, I'm getting airtime. So I just kept on consistently, and that's what I'm going for now, to drop, my new album that's coming now, besides the first album that I have out.
Well, going back to your history, even going back to 2005, you talked about like starting the imprint and like working for up until this time, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, like putting your years and time into the game, working for like that 10,000 hours that people talk about for mastery. Like along this way, bro, like what is like, you talked about learning the business. Like what have been some of the things that like now that you wish you knew back in 2005?
Basically, and that's a great question. I could basically say almost everything that I learned now, I wish I knew in 2005. Right. Like how important it is to own your publishing, how important it is to own your masters, how important it is to copyright your music, where to copyright it at, make sure that your metadata is correct, make sure that basically you're registering and filing your music, and that, you're following the sequence, because I've learned that a lot of artists, sometimes you get angry at why you're not getting paid, but you're shortchanging yourself by not documenting your music. And it's kind of like the IRS and paying taxes. You don't document it, no paper trail, you won't make money digitally.
Right. And that's something that you had to learn the hard way.
And I had to learn the hard way, because a lot of the people that I'm with or that I affiliated with are from the old school. Right. So because they're from the old school genre of hip hop, they didn't believe in digital. They were the ones that, were selling our CDs out the trunk of our car. We're friends with DJs, this, that. So even them, they still ask me now, like, wow, I love your progress. Look at how far you have came. And then, learning how to become a publicist and PR away from being an artist, and then just learning international marketing and campaigning. I just basically put myself in a position where I became a sponge and started to learn everything so I can duplicate the process.
How do you like explain that to people in that like regard too?
Yeah, the best way to say it is, okay, if I have $5, right, and I invest into something and I don't know anything about it, right, how can I maximize my profit?
Yeah.
That's the best way.
And they get that.
And they get that, yeah, because you think about it. Why am I going to invest $5 into something I know nothing about, but not try to learn about it?
Nah, for sure. With Blu, like with the production side of things too, like what have been like your hurdle that you had to overcome with learning about like kind of like the points, the percentages, like did you kind of go through the same type of situations that he did?
Yeah, I kind of did, but Lazarus has taught me a lot. And shout out to World, shout out to Reggie, my other partner, Reggie Lanes out there too as well. Other people out there that I when I came into this business, I just came in like very blinded. I didn't know nothing about it. I just started making beats randomly for people. Say, hey, listen, man, you know, you could get paid from this. Your percentages, your paperwork and everything. So Laz got me straight with that as well.
So wow. So you helped him out too.
Yeah, he helped me out because I didn't know nothing about the business. I just came in, hey, I know how to make beats. That was it. I just came in, one foot in the door. That's it, you know?
Right. And that kind of started from when we was at the Beloved Showcase, you know, where I performed my song with Paris last night. My brother DeParis, shout out to him. Blu had came to me and, you know, he was giving me more beats. And my whole thing is I like to do music and business the proper way. Doesn't matter who it is. I need your IPI. If you don't know your stuff, I will small educate you and show you.
John. Where's
Shout out to John. You already know in the whole On the Radar family, but that's something I'm big on and pet peeve with any artist, producer. Why? Because you deserve your credit. We're making an intellectual property. Realize that.
Right. But you know what it also is too is like, even though it's funny because you're like, oh, I'm explaining this to like the last generation, and then me and John be trying to explain it to the young kids. That's like, why is all your music on YouTube but not on streaming? You're actually like losing money because you got people who are just uploading your records to like TuneCore or some other distributor who, you know, they're not monitoring all this shit because they, you know, it's not really their job to monitor some of that shit unless you're a major label, and that's how they're getting screwed. Because it's like, I'm trying to think of like an example, like a young drill rapper from the Bronx, his video gets 1 million views on YouTube, he doesn't put it on streaming, he doesn't do the right paperwork, blah 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 blah, whatever it is, and then somebody else uploads it and it gets 1 million streams, and then that person makes all the money from the streams.
The first thing I go and look at, right, shout out, because, you know, in my day job, I work with the youth. The first thing I go and do is I utilize and I talk to the parents. A lot of the parents, a lot of times, right, don't realize their kids are doing things, they're out doing music, and you're trying to teach them a structured home, but you're not looking at what their dream is. Remember, part of being a great parent is helping your kid achieve that dream. So if my kid wants to do something, I'm going to make sure that I learn everything about that business and Evander to be able to teach my child. So when they give me poor excuses like, oh, I didn't do that, I go, imagine you wanted to do something your whole life and I finance you and give you all the money, right? But I don't believe anything in your dream because I don't take time to listen.
Fact.
So that gives them something to stop and look back. Wait, that's how you feel? No, that's what you demonstrate to me when you're not willing to do that for your seed. You get what I mean? I don't even have children and I do things for other children. You know what I mean? So I take that very big, Gabe. The first thing I look at and go, well, you're obviously not worried about them prospering. You only want them to live your dream. And that's the problem that we're in now in Generation X. We have to realize the kids are the future and that they're going to change the, you know, future from what we see when we look at their dreams.
Right. That's a good way to put it. But I think it's funny how it's like you're explaining the same, like you're explaining the things to the last generation, we're explaining it to the kids.
And that's one of the greatest parts. That goes to show me the level of thinking on where y'all at, because everybody needs to know.
There's not enough literacy within the music community to like explain these things to people. You know what I'm saying?
You know, a lot of times it's shrouded and you know, and hidden like books. So if you don't study, it's not going to come out.
I mean, there's also a lot of cases too where it's like we'll try to put out a song and like we'll have like the connections to the producer, like we'll have their email, their IG, whatever, and like, but they haven't posted anything in like a year and a half, 2 years. They might not even be producing anymore. So like, we're just like, you know, you want to do good business, but you got to get the song out. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. So what happens is in that case, that's when I try to hit the producer up. I do whatever part. I've learned that now they made it easy. You know, you can go to AI and AI can actually search a person's name and help you find, their publishing and all of that. I know, because shout out to my bro Cover. When he couldn't find his, I found it for him.
Oh, get out of here, for real?
I mean, it is what it is.
Wow.
That's crazy,
That's
bro.
amazing.
That's crazy. But with you now, like, with all, like, the history within the music and the history within New York, right? And you kind of being, what type of artist do you categorize yourself as, or what type of rapper?
I categorize myself as a master of ceremony.
I like that.
And the reason I say that is because I make all forms and genres of music. I mean, I can make house music, I can make Spanish music, I can make hip hop, I can make trap, I can do whatever. But I've learned that besides just rapping to itself, the creation part of writing the song is my favorite part.
Have you wrote for other people before?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And how did you navigate that too? Because I know that that's like a very touchy lane when it comes to like publishing and writer credits and.
Well, what happens is there's two stipulations. Either we have a one-on-one binding contract at the end of the day where they want to pay for the all exclusive, where they don't mention anything for me at all. That's fine with me. Then you also have the other one where you want to pay a less percentage and there's points and you have to mention me in the credit. So I give people the option and choice. Some people have paid me discreetly and like, yo, dude, I don't want anybody to ever know nothing. And it's like, okay with me because I'm still the same Laz.
Right. But then your opinion of like, I guess, would that be considered like a ghostwriter in that sense?
Correct. And that's where I ghostwrite because I even write R&B as well too. So that's the thing.
So what is like your overall opinion about ghostwriters then?
My overall opinion.
I haven't ghostwritten for people before.
My thing is, regardless of what, we need them in the industry because you have people that are amazing entertainers but can't write any words whatsoever, but can freely express, kind of like a movie. Right. So I know that they're needed at the same time, but I feel that at the same time they're kind of like shadow banned, almost like an Instagram. People don't want to hear about them. They're like, wait, what do you mean you had a ghostwriter? Like, you're not a good artist if you had a ghostwriter. No, you have people that are performing artists and people that are inspiring creating artists. That's the difference.
That's a good way to put it because I feel like we're too quick to like shame people for having like co-writers on records or things like that because it's like, I don't know. Sometimes even a co-writer could just be somebody who was in the room and just gave you a couple ideas for the song, for real, too.
Correct. I look at it a little bit different, see, because I always think as a team. So I look at it like if I win, then we won. And if I can give you credit as well and get you a Spotify or iTunes plaque for something you helped me with, I mean, that's a trophy.
That's a trophy. I go lie. You got a plaque for it. Nobody got to know nothing about it. You get to just...
You have people, there's people that's silent that's like that. Like, shout out DJ Energetic. My song Swipes right now is number 43 on iTunes. Shout out to him. I know all the records that he has pushed and helped co-produce it with me and all that. Why wouldn't I want him to get a trophy and a plaque as well for his hard work?
Right. So you're all for like the co-writing, the ghost writing, all that shit like that.
Correct.
And I feel like people from New York especially wouldn't be like open to like admitting or speaking about that too,
Of course.
Because there's so much pride in.
You said it, and this big pertain image, but I'm not going to lie to you. Some of the greatest writers and some of the greatest entertainers will tell you, I had this person write for me.
Right. Oh, you think about my favorite reference track is the Work Rihanna reference track that Party Next Door did.
Correct.
Party Next Door killed that shit too.
Off the chain. That's one of my favorites as well, too. And then, I guess I look at it that way because, remember, then I sit with the producers. It's kind of like sampling. Some of the best music comes out of sampling, but you still got to clear the sample.
I was just watching today. I was watching this, I forgot who was getting interviewed, but my boy, shout out my brother Will, he tweeted it. He was like, oh, I hate sample snitching because about this guy who had this big record, it got sampled, right? Right. Feel free to chime in as the producer with the sampling and shit. And he got caught with the sample. Like, apparently there's certain lawyers who just go on like the Who Sampled This site.
Correct.
And they just look and they see if it, and then they'll find a sample, they'll see if it was cleared, and then they'll go, do their lawyer thing. But apparently there's like a law where you can't go back past 3 years or some shit like that, right?
Correct.
So after 3 years, I don't know exactly I'm not gonna pretend like I know what the law was because it's a minute long clip. But like something after those 3 years, like the penalty isn't as bad or whatever shit it is, right? But he still ended up having to pay some type of money, some type of percentage off the record. So.
You see, and that's a prime example. Shout out to DJ Will, of course. That's why, people got to learn about the Harry and Fox agency, making sure at the end of the day you clear samples, that you have that. See, that's why I say I'm a little bit ahead, Gabe. Like, I'm part of that. And away from being an artist as a DJ, I know that. So before I play a record and I go places, right, I try to tell people, make sure it's a registered venue, make sure you have everything in your right category so that way you're not missing out on your stream money.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. As a producer, like, do you struggle with the sample shit?
What I do is I chop up my samples to the point where nobody can recognize it.
Hey,
I'm being honest.
He gave you out of fire.
I mean, sometimes they can recognize it, but I go back, I go back to the lab and just try to chop it up as much as I can so people can't recognize it.
As literally, so it's like I have like I'm not gonna say what song it is. I'll tell y'all after. But there's a song that we put out that like is like the sample is super unrecognizable. Like, and you would like have to literally be like. A certain type
have to
of
sit
person.
there, really dig into it and listen to it.
You have to be a certain fan of something to really understand what the sample was. Because I was just in the studio with them. I'm like, oh, you should do this sample, and they're like, oh shit, this is crazy. And then like, but you really have to be a fan of this one thing to understand. But I'm not going to incriminate myself on camera. So anyway,
of course not.
But with the two of y'all, like, what's the project that y'all are working on right now?
All right, so the project, it doesn't have a name yet. The reason why I didn't give it a name was because I thought of one name, but just kind of like you said right there, Gabe, I want to make sure nobody else is trying to, use the name or anything like that. But the reason it's happening is because I already got 10 records basically from them. And I started to say to myself, are these the 10 records that we want to put out to the world, or we're going to pick out the best out of these 10? So out of these 10 so far, I've picked 3. So I said, you know what? Let's do 2 more at the end of the day, and then that's when the EP project could come out.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you why I like it. I'm coming from the Bronx. He's coming from Brooklyn. And if you know the stories of hip hop, you know back in the days those boroughs didn't like each other.
Right.
So right now we're showing them that we're meshing and we're dead in that. It's about the music and the love and the connection and giving them good music.
That's fire. That's fire. And who else is on the project with you?
There's a couple of special guest appearances on there. I got something on there with World of Ramen. Shout out to him. I got something with the Paris. I got something with Reggie Lanes on there. I got Lonnie Lyric on there. You know, we have some crazy records on there. And then there's a few other people that's within our circle.
Fire.
You know, and don't get me wrong, Gabe, because you know I'm a hard critic. So even if they're in our circle and I didn't like the song, it will get backpacked. That's just how it is. I'm not afraid to say that on air anywhere we at. We are harsh critics amongst ourselves. And on top of that, shout out my brother Josiah Hotwire. Of course, I got something coming with him on his production and something on Blues Beat that he's definitely going to be featured, you know, on the album because that's my guy.
What's kind of like the messaging within this project too?
Within this project, I guess it's bringing back the essence of real hip hop to New York. Why? Because I feel that we lost the essence. Atlanta took it over, and they don't realize why we lost it. And I'm not afraid to tell New Yorkers why. We got to stop being lazy. We got, you know, shorter with our music. Songs got less. There's no more 3 verses. You know, the samples this. Guys are only giving you 7 bars, which is not even a, like, you know, real number. So I look at it like music has dumbed down, so we shortchanged ourselves. I'm trying to show them I'm from that golden era of hip hop where you really had to rap. And that's what this message is, that we can still give them golden era hip hop on futuristic beats and still show them and give a message that we need to stop being lazy.
I love that, man. That's fire.
It's honest truth.
That's fire. You want to put any? He's saying everything.
Yeah, well, I consider myself to be a modern boom bap producer.
Okay.
You know, that's that. You call that 90s now. I call that 90s now.
Okay,
you
90s
know?
now.
So,
90s now producer.
90s now producer, yes. Where it's like people say, hey, you know what? It sounds 90s, but it sounds very updated. Some futuristic 90s, you know?
So, fire.
Yeah. So
90s now on the project.
Yeah, 90s now on the project, you know. So I got you know, to my brother Lazarus over here, we got the project coming out pretty soon. We haven't titled it yet. Shout out to World of Rama. I have a project with him. We got Go Baby. We also have Queens Get the Money. And shout out to $1 Million Smile. We have this song called Cold World. Reggie Lanes, I got a few songs with him. I got a project with him. Miss Seattle.
That boy's working.
I got 2 songs with her that I produced for her. Lonnie Lyric, I got a song that I used the Erykah Badu sample on and on. Yeah, so I'm working out here. I'm really working out here. Trying to make things happen. That's it, you know?
I love that. So we're going to have the project by this summer, hopefully.
Yes, definitely.
What else we got cooking for the rest of the year?
For the rest of the year, my new album coming out is going to be titled The Life of a Dawn, Volume 1. Nice. I was going to release it through Amadeus, but now, you know, like I said, when you learn the business, you step up. So now they see me with my own distribution and my own stuff. So I'm going to put out my own album, of course, and show people, you know, what it's all about.
Fine, man. Well, congrats on that.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
I look forward to both the projects.
You know you're going to get that email.
Of course. Appreciate y'all coming here today.
Thank you for having us.
One Take Freestyle.
You already know.
Before we get up out of here, y'all can both let the people know where they can follow you. Anything else you want the fans on, now's the time to do it. Blue, your camera's right here. Laz, your camera's right here.
Man, you already know. It's your boy Lazaris, the Top Don. If you ain't familiar, make sure you get, familiar. Log on to my website, www.topdonempire.com. Shout out to On The Radar. Shout out to Gabe. Shout out to Clean and Dirty Productions. Blue Vision Beats. You already know my brother Amadeus in the Army. And I know what it is. One Take Laz, man. We here. Bow.
You already know. Blu Diaz, super producer. Blue Vision Beats. You can find me on Instagram. BLU_DIAZ80. You know, I'm out here working. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Let's go.
There you go. Well, look, make sure you go follow them both. Go run up the project when it's out. Go run up the freestyle. Go show them some love. Go show them some support. Love is free. Support's free. But try to renew that till next time. On The Radar. We out. Bow.
Bow.
Love.
Love.
Perfect.